Hello again and welcome back to another one. And today we have a couple of topics to cover, from one that's been shocking hip-hop fans across platforms when reports revealed that Eminem's Houdini just smashed its first day record on streaming platforms, and it is happening across platforms at the moment, from Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, YouTube, and even Apple Music. And we'll get to more on this in a bit, as even hardcore fans who have been following the numbers have been shocked by this one. And we got a blast from the past that some Gen Zers found eye-opening, that gave some context on how the outrage over Houdini is light work compared to the early 2000s. And today we also have more on the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef that most believe ended after Drake quote conceded on The Heart Part 6. And following the release of Drake's latest song, this beef was revisited by hip-hop fans who can't believe what they just heard from Drake.
Everything gonna be irie.
Especially after Kendrick called him out on the diss tracks. And personally, I believe Drake may be trolling, and we'll get to more on this at the latter part of the video, as we also have a recent development on Drake's past beefs, this time from Common, who some believe was the first rapper to actually hand Drake his first L in hip-hop. More on this later. And before we dive into the latest milestone for Houdini, this made headlines a few hours ago. Eminem produced Michigan Central concert in Detroit to star Diana Ross, Jack White, and more. And check this out from the report. Eminem and his manager, Paul Rosenberg, are billed as executive producers of the Thursday night show. The concert is spearheaded by Ford Motor Company, which spent nearly $1 billion to renovate the site and unveil the artist roster Monday morning after weeks of build-up. And we still don't know if Eminem will perform on Thursday. However, this report was enough to start triggering some users on Twitter. Who cares? Laughing my bum off. Eminem has been irrelevant for many years now. And speaking on Eminem being irrelevant for years, Houdini has been smashing expectations, as this happened a few hours ago. Eminem's Houdini reaches a new peak of 8.5 million daily streams on Spotify, one of the biggest streaming days ever for a rap song. It is now challenging for a potential top 3 debut on Billboard. It just recorded its biggest ever day on its 4th day, and boy, the fact that Eminem and Kendrick are aftermath has sparked some wild reactions, as Drake is catching strays for no reason. Check out this reaction to the news. Kendrick and M to Drake.
Come on, man.
And some users still don't get it. They think it is the hardcore fans on social media making this happen. Check this out. Gotta respect the grind of his fans. This is not just being enjoyed by hardcore fans, as now that the dust has settled after all the crying, even the pop fans are switching up. Check this out. I don't listen to M, but this is a banger. We've even got some users change teams in real time like this. This new M song is just not it, shake my head. And a few days later, this update blew up. Damn, I was tripping. Eminem did his thing on that song. And someone now asking the right questions. A 51-year-old Eminem doing this is just crazy. Cause how many rappers in this generation are still relevant today? And we got a report that gave us some insight on what Eminem is doing right now. Gap between first and last top 5 solo hits among these hip-hop artists. Some of the people trying to cancel Eminem aren't even as old as the length between his first and last top 5 solo hits. This is madness. And as predictable as ever, we got the usual. That's where white privilege comes in. If you've been following our daily coverage since the cover art was revealed, you'd notice how the narrative keeps changing. It went from he needs to retire because he was about to drop the corniest and worst song ever, when they dropped their reviews after the cover art was revealed. Even on the day of its release, we saw takes about how he needs to retire. But now that the numbers have been rising, they've reverted back to the usual white privilege.
Don't you get tired?
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
And some users still remember, quote, he needs Megan for clout. He will never be Dua Lipa. And due to the beef between Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion, her fans have been going off. they are still asking. His worst-selling album outsold her best-selling album. His new video has more views than her lead single, more views than every project she dropped this year, but he is the one using her. So basically, Eminem can use Megan for marketing, but Megan can't use Megan for marketing. And upon seeing the latest Spotify numbers, even the fans are in shock. New streams peak for Eminem. What the F? This can't be real. Eminem's Houdini is the second most streamed song yesterday globally on Spotify with new peak. And Spotify isn't the only surprise, as Houdini rose to #1 for the first time on Apple Music. It surpassed Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, and the fact that Eminem replaced Kendrick at the top has sparked reactions like, "These two men are the reason why Dr. Dre doesn't have to drop music." And this got a response that I'll throw over to you guys, as this user was asked, "How do you like M but not Drake?" And overall, here's a summary of Eminem's Houdini across platforms. #1 on Apple Music, #1 on YouTube, #1 on Pandora, #1 on iTunes, #1 on Amazon, and #2 on Spotify. And just so you know, there's a chance for Houdini to go #1 in the United States, although it is severely crippled by lack of radio play, which would have guaranteed the #1 spot, as even Forbes reported on this. Houdini looks to be headed for a healthy debut, especially when it comes to sales. The new drop's success on iTunes suggests that the rapper could be headed for a new top 10 and possibly another #1 on the tallies where Lose Yourself is currently surging. And the question is, will pure sales and streams be enough to take it to #1 in the United States? Well, that's up to music listeners in the US. And for some context, a few weeks back, this would have been enough. This is insane, OMG. Any other week, this would guarantee a #1 on Billboard. He dropped on one of the most competitive weeks on the charts and he's still killing it. And speaking on the outrage so far, we got an entire thread on Twitter that broke down why Houdini's outrage is nothing compared to the early days. One that some young fans have found helpful. And check out some snippets from the Senate hearings due to early Eminem's lyrics.
And we do know we have to do more to recognize the early warning signs that are sent before children act violently.
Represents in some ways the rap music, what I do with rock.
He was catching a lot of heat at the time, so I figured I would maybe take some off him and bring it on me.
Now in the room, we have some easels that show some examples of this music. Now this stuff is not for the faint-hearted, but the music industry has decided it's for children. Nor are these obscure songs. The lyrics from Eminem are from an album which is currently at #3 on the Billboard chart after spending 2 months this summer at #1. He received 3 awards from MTV.
I have lately been very disturbed by the lyrics of the rap singer Eminem. They could not be more despicable. They could not be more hateful in their attitudes toward women in particular. There are many groups that Eminem is quite despicable toward, but he is a violent misogynist. It is despicable. It is awful.
Put yourself through the torture of listening to this?
I actually listened to it, and I will give Eminem this credit. You can understand every word he says. Many rock singers and rappers you can't understand. This is absolutely clear. I decided that since the lyrics were so hateful to women, what I would do is write the 2 women members of the board of Seagram. Seagram owns Interscope. Interscope distributes and produces Eminem's records. Eminem received 3 awards from the entertainment industry last week, including Best Male Performer at the MTV Awards. Can you imagine that the entire industry honors this man whose work is so hateful?
Artistic expression and freedom of speech only can go so far before you have Miss Cheney knocking at you.
And it is wild how all they fought for got pissed away decades later when we started to see a trend of top artists digitally alter their lyrics due to backlash. And that, my friends, is why Slim Shady is back in 2024. And moving on to the next point, Drake recently dropped a collab, a remix of Hey There Delilah, a song that went #1 in 2007 in the United States, and we got a remix Wagwan Delilah. And just in case you're wondering why this has caused a crap storm on social media, check out some snippets from the remix.
Wagwan Delilah, double date me if you like me. Brought my chronom for your bestie. Sorry, he's wearing a shiesty, he's not beat.
Wool up, wool up, wool up, just wool up.
It's just too smoky in these streets. You're looking sweet.
And boy, it has been rough. Perhaps Drake is trolling, but that hasn't stopped the roasting session. This blew up. Maybe Kendrick cooked him a bit too much, and users have been going viral. That ish was worse than the Grippy song. Drake got jaw ruled.
Oh my God!
And this sent shockwaves around. This is not a joke, this is a real song. Drake came out of the Kendrick Lamar beef with this, an accented version of Hey There Delilah. I am over here shedding real tears. And some have now concluded. First it was Sexy Red feature, and now this fake accent garbage. Kendrick was right about Drake. And perhaps the funniest one yet, Drake walked in the booth like,
Everything gonna be irie.
Have you registered? Okay.
Damn.
And while this was on, we got an update from Common about how the beef with Drake ended during a chat with Drink Champs. Check out some snippets.
No idea at that point. Shout out to No Idea. He was like, cause I had all these bars, and he was like, bro, you can't go that hard. Just wait, cause it might be another round. And he was like, the younger generation don't go that hard. And I was like, what? And then, cause all I know is to go all out. If we're in a fight, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna pick up what I gotta pick up.
Bitching you too.
but when he told me that, I was like, okay. So I took out a few lines, and then we had it, and I eventually saw Drake face to face, and I was at a point where I was like, what's up? And we had little words, and then his father was there, and was like, y'all need to squash this. And I was like, man, this is an elder talking to me. This is man father. Let me chill out. And then Drake just was like, we talked, and he was like, man, I ain't on this, blah, blah, blah. So we just squashed it. I was like, listen, if we face to face and it ain't nothing, then even if it was some subliminal distance, I said what I had to say. Yep. Right now, we saying we squashing it, we good, so.
And in response to this, some have concluded, so Drake's whole rap career, he done took 3 L's. Common, Pusha, T, and Kendrick. And I'll be looking forward to your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.
Walk one Delilah, double date me if you like me, brought my chrono.